Well, speaking of a rich tradition of winning that just happened more recently, I should say, let's talk about the team to beat currently in the NHL, the Colorado Avalanche. This man, Joe Sakic, really built a winner here. You know,
Yes, he did.
he's got 1.9 in cap space, but I don't know how Nathan McKinnon's only making 6.3, but okay. This is a fantastically well-built team. I think it's a very good team. I like. There's really not too much to complain about with the roster construction, but let's get into the depth chart. Let's start off with the forwards. We got Valerie Nichushkin, who had a really good season last season. 62 games played, 25 goals, 27 assists, 52 points. Yeah, Nathan McKinnon, 65 games, 32 goals, 56 assists for 88 points. Then you have Mikko Rantanen, 75 games played, 36 goals, 56 assists for 92 points. That's one of the best first lines of all hockey.
Yep. Easy.
Hands down. Then you got Evan Rodriguez, who
they just got him, didn't he?
Yeah, they just got him. And this is actually a thing that we talked about, right? He maybe Alex Newhook stepping up, but let's the Gabriel Landeskog is big. Evan Rodriguez in this role, 82 games played, 19 goals, 24 assists, 43 points, and then Turi Lehkonen, 74 games played, 19 goals, 19 assists for 38 points. I mean, that's a solid second line. I think getting more of a proven guy at that second line center is a smart idea.
I mean, honestly, I've watched Evan Rodriguez play. I like his game. It's very dynamic. He's one of those guys that you don't see him until it's too late. He's very sneaky off the puck, and obviously he brings that top game mentality because obviously he's been playing with Malkin, Crosby for the past couple of years, and I think that what he's gonna bring is definitely stability to the second line, and some more of an offensive threat there in the middle. That's kind of proven. So yeah, that's going to be an exciting line to watch. I mean, obviously the first line is going to be amazing, but this second line, man, I think that those point totals for all of them are going to go up, honestly.
I think so. I think you might see a slight... I mean, the one thing I like about Rodriguez and Landeskog is they both can play center. But I think you might see a slight step back with Kadri going to the Flames. But, I mean, quite frankly, to me, I think this is still a very good second line that has potential to score more. I agree with you there. You have this third line, Logan O'Connor, Alex Newhook, JT Compher, who had 24 points, 33 points respectively. I think Alex Newhook, Boston College Eagle alumni, watched him in college. Really good player. I think there's more there, obviously only being 21. I think him being on a third line is actually good. Give him time to really develop at the NHL level, get used to this game more. I mean, yeah, he played 70 games last season, 71 I should say. But I could see him getting maybe around 40 points this season. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a process. So I really like that third line.
Yeah, I definitely think this is going to be one of those seasons where he grows and he already seen how Kadri plays. Obviously he's been with the team a couple of seasons now. But bringing in someone like Rodriguez gives him a different look and probably even opens up his mind where he learned something different. Because Rodriguez was obviously on Pittsburgh, and so he has a whole different mindset. So he's gonna get here. He's gonna probably give a few tips here and there. And that's going to improve the team overall. Obviously, still losing Kadri is a big loss, but I don't think the fall off's going to be as bad as it initially thought when there was no Rodriguez. So,
yeah, I would definitely have to kind of agree there. I think for me it's going to be nice. And then you got a third line here with Andrew Cogliano, Darren Helm, Jason Magna. solid fourth line grinders. I mean, Darren Helm feels like he's been around forever at this point.
Yeah.
And like I thought he'd probably be in his 40s at this point, but he's not. Solid player, and that's a good fourth line, right? Nothing crazy, but just grit that you need to win a cup.
Your fourth line just needs to be able to give your other lines a break and just hold on. And if they score, then that's beautiful. If they don't, nothing lost.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with there. And let's get into the defense here. You have Devin Taves, 66 games played, 13 goals, 44 assists, 57 points. With Cale Makar, 77 games played, 28 goals. Jesus Christ, 28 goals. I just read that again. 58 assists, 86 points. Samuel Girard, 67 games played, 5 goals, 23 assists, 28 points. Josh Mason, 67 games played, 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. Bowen Byram, 30 games played, 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points. And then Eric Johnson, 77 games played, 8 goals, 17 assists for 25 points. I mean, 52 and 48 plus minus from Taves and Makar is just like video game numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a solid decor. I mean, I can't really argue with it.
/ forward line.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. I think that's where a lot of that offense is going to be made up from, right?
Yeah.
It is going to be the back end. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think though, adding Evan Rodriguez gives a little bit more legitimacy up front to that top six, a little bit more proven veteran leadership. I'm not saying Newhook couldn't thrive in that role, but I think giving young players not too much rope to hang themselves with is a smart thing. Yeah. Like, give these guys the time to develop. Don't rush it. But yeah, I can't really complain. I think Eric Johnson and Bowen Byram, I mean, you're hoping Byram kind of takes that next step, being 21 and a young guy and is still on an ELC. You're hoping he takes that next step in his development. Maybe he can challenge for a top 4 minutes. But overall, they're a relatively deep team, and I don't defensively especially. I think they're solid.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that one.
So let's get into the goaltending. The bigger acquisition here, Alexander Gorgiev.
Gorgiev.
Oh, no, I can already see the comments. 33 games played, 2.92 goals against, 898 save percentage, 15 wins, 10 losses. Pavel Francouz, 21 games played, 2.55 goals against, 916 save percentage, and a 15-5 record. And we got to give credit to Francouz.
Yeah.
He played well in the playoffs when he had to. When Kemper went down, he played well.
Yes, he did.
He was an important run for them to win that cup. So, gonna give him his due justice. He's 32 years old, but he played one of his better years. Played solid, but I think them bringing Gorgiev in kind of shows that they want to have some mix of youth in there, and they think Gorgiev is going to be the number one goalie. Now, as a New York Rangers fan, right?
Yeah.
You've watched Gorgiev more intimately than everyone else that I would probably usually say when I kind of do these videos. What would you say about Gorgiev? What's his pros? What's his cons? Go.
Okay. Let's start off with the bad things, right? The bad things is if he doesn't play a lot, he tends to have like rust build really fast. So if he's not playing consistently, he tends to be out of the game for a little bit when he does come back. Not saying he's not competitive, but you can see the rust, and it happens really fast with him. Pros, playing consistently, he becomes better and better and better all the time. And then when you have a solid defense in front of him, right, he will play amazing. Now, obviously on the Rangers, he never really got that consistent play. He got stuck behind two elite level goalies in Lundqvist and then behind Shesterkin. It wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't in the cards for him. And he wasn't satisfied being the number two. I think that here, he's going to have that chip on his shoulder. He plays very well. He's very acrobatic. he can, like I said, once he starts playing consistently, you're going to see why Colorado went for him, because he really is good. He is extremely good. I would say he's a very good starting goalie. He just needs the right team in front of him. Obviously, when he did get any type of starting minutes over the past couple of seasons, it was during the transition from Lundqvist to Shesterkin, and the team was also in the midst of their rebuild. So for him, he never really had that solid team in front of him until last season, which is why, his numbers went up, whatnot, his wins and everything else. But yeah, now you put a team that's already proven and solid all around in front of him. Expect the best from Gorgiev. I do.
I mean, I think there's upside there. He's only 26. Goaltenders usually develop later, right? So some goalies won't even enter their prime until they're like 28. I think this has a chance to be good. And I think the important thing here for Gorgiev is he went to a good team, a good situation.
Yep.
I think if Gorgiev went to Arizona, no helping him. But I think if you go with Colorado, I could see him pulling out very similar numbers to Kempfer or Francouz in between that level. I mean, this team is deep. All you need to do is make the simple saves.
Yep.
Occasionally bail your team out, but I think Gorgiev has more to give there. And I think with, obviously you go with Shesterkin, but I think here with a team that will give him the chance to be a number one, I think he could be an above average starter.
Yeah. I mean, for any Colorado fan that's still questioning that move, be prepared to be surprised. I promise.
So let's kind of get right into it. Favorite part of the show, in my opinion. Let's go down to the division.
Oof.
They finished first, and I'm going to go out of here on a limb and say they're going to do it again. Crazy prediction. Hot take. But they're a good team. Kadri's a loss, sure. Johnson, he was a bottom pairing defenseman, so not as big of a loss in my opinion. But I think with Rodriguez, is it going to be the same offensive output? Maybe not, but could be, because you have really good players right next to him, like Landeskog. Could really have a career year. And, I like this Colorado roster. Their biggest weakness would probably be goaltender. But I would actually have to say the same thing last season. Their biggest weakness was goaltender, and they won a cup. So if the goalies can make the saves they need to make, or they should be making, this team going to finish first. What are your thoughts, Fajardo?
I expect them to be challenging for first. I expect one of these other teams, and I'll get to it, to challenge for that first spot though. But yeah, I expect them to be first or second lowest. Nothing else than that. No lower than second, but that's it. Well,
alrighty. So that was they're a really well-built team, really all the way overall around. And it's going to be interesting to see how this season goes, because it's very hard to repeat. Before we switch, do you think they can repeat?
Yes, I do think they can repeat.
Well, I'm going to have to say, yeah, I think they could repeat. I think if the stars align, right, and they do business how they should, I could easily see this team repeating and winning another Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Because all the pieces are there.